Happy Tuesday, day 2. I'm doing something I haven't ever done before. I'm doing a series of 7 days talking about storms of all type and how to navigate them better. And I've been doing something I haven't done also. I'm not writing down what I'm going to do. I just asked the Lord, what do you want me to share, and what trial, what lesson, and so that I can help each of you. So today I was thinking about unseen, really being protected with the unseen hands in our lives. And I don't know about you, I know we all go through trials, we go through uncertainties and a lot of stress in our lives. And do we notice, to acknowledge, better yet, acknowledge the hand of the Lord in our lives and don't brush it off as coincidence. I was thinking about something to share of a storm, a trial that I had. It was about 38 years ago. I was thinking about that today when it happened. I had just had a miscarriage of 4.5 months. A baby that I miscarried, and it was a really hard time. And I went 2 weeks of, had been in the hospital, had to have a DSC, and I was, resting at home, just trying to recover emotionally and physically. And Dave, my husband then, he was running late to the airport, and he thought maybe I would be well enough if he drove to the airport, I could actually drive home and it would be okay, because he was running late and he wanted to get the car dropped off so he wouldn't miss his flight. And I had my third child, Megan, who was about 5 or 6, and she was in the back seat of the car. And so I just grabbed a bathrobe on and I went just riding to the airport with Dave, and he dropped me off. And the weather was kind of a lot of hard visibility. It was a very misty day. If you know about Georgia weather, it's like rainy and then kind of this morning was particularly hard to see a lot in a good visibility. So I was kind of in a fog, as went through a lot in the last week or two. And I was getting on the freeway, and right before I got on the freeway, my daughter Megan, who was, like I said, about 5 or 6, she was in the seat belt. I don't even know if they had car seats back then. Maybe they did. I'm sure they did. But she said, "Can I get in the front seat?" And so I did. I said, "Get up early before I make the turn." So she made her way into the front of the passenger seat beside me, and I said, "You got to get your seatbelt on." But right in the middle of me getting into the freeway, I was going way too fast for the turn. I wasn't really as sharp as I needed to be, and the weather was not helping any. So I went turning, screaming, screeching around the corner of the bend, going to that, that barricade, that wall that takes you back out to the freeway. I was going way too fast, and here I come, and all I saw was this big, I think it was about 4-foot wall, and I knew I was going to hit it. And I holy cow, please. And I remember just saying, "God, please, save me," and I went around and I hit that wall head on. And in the moment that when I hit the wall, Megan had flipped it literally in the air and landed on a little pillow that she had on my lap. The pillow was on my lap, and then Megan was on top of that. She wasn't pushed forward through the glass, and all the glass was busted out on the side of the car. My side was busted out. The front of the car had cracks in it, and I was more than shooken up. I was really shooken up. I had been through a lot that week, and then I was sat there, and I think, holy cow, Megan, there are people going to come behind me, going to hit me because they can't see what's coming around the bend. And I thought, if I hadn't been spared then, I felt like God saved my life and her life, not going through the windshield, I not going through or spinning around or whatever it may have happened. My car was stopped, but I needed to move it. And I just said, "Megan, please pray." And I just said, "Help me start this car." And I just turned the engine, ignition. I turned the key, and it worked. It started. And I literally, Megan and I prayed all the way home. We went very gingerly, going through what would have taken 40 minutes, probably took an hour, but I was going very slowly all the way home with the cracked windows, and just holding onto that steering wheel and gripping it tight and praying all the way home that I could get home. Hey, everybody joining in. And when I got in the driveway, I couldn't believe it. Dave was gone on a trip. Lots have happened to my car, and I didn't know how bad everything was. So I went and called Earl Randall. And Earl, if you're watching, or Dixie, I called you and said, "Dave just left and I need help on my car. This is what happened." And so he came over with the tow truck. He put the car, it was a van back then, put the van in the tow truck, took it back to his shop, and rolled it up and took a good look at the car, and he called me back within the hour, and he said, Rachel, I can't believe that you drove your car home. I go, what did you mean? He said again, I can't believe you drove your car home. What do you mean? I can't believe it. You had no steering. The steering column had cracked in half. There was no steering. I was just shocked that I felt literally the Lord preserve my life. The unseen hands, the master touch. He took the wheel literally, like the song says, took the wheel, and he led me home when I didn't have any steering. And what I've learned from these things, and I haven't had very many of those in your life, you count a handful of those things. But in that situation, whatever it was that he preserved my life and Megan's life, he taught me to trust in him when the greater storms were going to come. And when we have storms and we go through trials, we're going to have lots of layers in our life. And sometimes we may think it's hard to really surrender things. We may think it's hard to really lift both of our hands up because we don't know what the Lord's going to require of us. And I was having a conversation with my daughter, Michelle, and she is amazing. She follows the Lord, and she's just got a great life. And she has a little daughter, Ariel, and she's 1 year old. And I asked her, what do you think? We don't really fully raise our hands up and say, I'm all in. Just give me what you need me to do and just go for it. And she says sometimes we hold back, she thinks, is because we don't want to do, or we may be afraid what he's going to ask us to do. And maybe that's so. And I said, well, the good thing is the Lord doesn't cause things to happen to us. He doesn't, for example, and I gave this example, and I felt that it was being guided by the Spirit when I said this. I go, Michelle, your Ariel, when she's walking and you're helping her walk, you never push her down. You say, here's my hand, or watch the hole, or step up high. No one's ever going to cause you to be pushed down. God doesn't cause you to have cancer, or to cause you to go through these things. He allows things to happen. He never pushes it. He just says, I'm here. Hold my hand. Watch out. Pay attention. A friend could remind you. A song can tell you. You could be writing down something in your journal and then something stands out. Be careful. These are warnings and spiritual promptings and nudges. And so we always have help. And that's what I wanted to let you know. We always have help, the unseen hand. Sometimes we see a friend. A friend is the unseen hand. And let me tell you, to end this today, I just wanted to let you know we navigate, in being aware of those things that can happen. They will happen. We expect them to happen. And let me tell you what happened yesterday. I came back from a trip in the Blue Ridge Mountains. My car was working wonderful. I came home. I had arranged to go for a walk at 7 a.m. with a friend. And I opened the garage door. So my car was working fine. I went to start the ignition and it didn't start. It was dead. So I thought I must have left the light on. I looked all around to see if I had left anything on, and it wasn't. So my batteries died. So I pushed the car out of the garage, and I thought I'm going to have to work on this today, which wasn't my plan coming back on a Monday. And so I went for a walk with my friend. She came over, and then I was thinking about all day long, I've got to figure out what to do with my car. I need to get somebody to give me some jumper cables, which I should have bought. I should have had those on hand. And I thought about all day long. And then Kevin Marler, if you're watching, Kevin is a family friend. And he didn't realize that he was being the unseen hand for me. God was asking. He asked me at 4 o'clock. He texted me at 4 o'clock and said, Rachel, I have some extra vegetables from a friend's garden that had so much produce, some cucumbers and tomatoes. He said, would you like some fresh vegetables? Of course I would. I have vegetables, but I wouldn't just miss getting some more vegetables. He said, I was thinking about you today, and he said, can I come over at 5:30? And I said, yes. And do you happen to having some cable jump? My car didn't start this morning, and I just wondered if you would help me. He goes, oh, sure. I didn't have to ask somebody to help me. He followed that nudge to ask me for some to pass along some vegetables, which I'm sure he's really busy. He came over. He started. He had this little self jumper that I had, and he said, "I want you to have it. It's for you." I had an extra one. I don't know why. And he started my car, and it was the battery needed to be checked out, which I went to check. And when he was fixing my car, he looked up because he knew my husband. He went deep sea fishing with Dave when he was a little boy, a younger boy, or maybe a teenager. And he looked up and said, "I got her, Dave. I got her. I got her." And he listened to the nudge to go ask me not to help me with the jumper cable because he didn't know that, but he asked to help me by just saying I felt led to give these vegetables to you. So the takeaways is to be aware, ask for help, have the Lord show you the unseen hands, and let him drive you in your life. We don't try to hold tight, and sometimes we do, but when we let go and we let the Lord go, he's not pushing us down. He's going to help us by saying, hold my hand, watch out for this, be ready for that. And I want you to know, I think Tammy's watching, my Aunt Mary Lee, hello to you. You're one of my favorite people that have taught me a lot about spiritual truths, and some of the others that are popping on. Hello to all of you, and enjoy the things you're doing, but take time to notice the things, people, the alignments, the nudges, and take action and appreciate, and you will have more. So beware, tomorrow is day 3, and I've got a special surprise for you, that you know something is coming that I've been working on for a while, and it's going to be a week of building up to it, and so you can know that you can see great value of what I have to offer, and to give you the things that the Lord has blessed me with these miracle stories and these the faith building stories, and to know he is real, he's alive, and he loves you. So you guys make it a great day.